Welcome back to Indie Cult Horror. Thanks again for tuning in with us. We've been going through all of these interviews that I recorded in the early 2000s when working on my master's. Interviews that I did at conventions up and down the East Coast with people who were both in front of and behind the camera in movies that are, to me, some of the most important horror movies ever made. And this month is almost a sequel to last month's episode with Tom Sullivan, the special effects and artist behind The Evil Dead. This time we're talking to the women who made that movie possible, the ladies of Evil Dead. Of course, the ladies of Evil Dead are Ellen Sandweiss, Betsy Baker, and Theresa Tilly. The three of them together make up the majority of the cast. Remember, this is a film that had literally 5 people in it, so there would have been no movie without these women. It's amazing to hear their stories. They, for good and for bad, they relate their experiences that they had, and it was really, every time that I got to see them, when they kind of were touring about at conventions in that time period, was so much fun. When you got those 3 women together, it was almost like a comedy troupe coming to town, and they were great at interacting with each other, with interacting with the fans, making it a great experience all around. I really loved getting to meet them and spending time with them. This is probably the most fun that I had doing an interview during this project because of that vibe. And it was awesome for me to be able to do this episode because this was literally the last minutes of that Horrorfind convention in 2003. It was the last day, it was like the last half hour of the con, and they were, the minute they finished this interview, I think they were jumping on the planes to go home. So I was so thankful that they gave me the time to do this interview with them. That being said, I am going to apologize for the audio. This is, like I said, the last minutes of a convention. It's in the convention hall. It's 3 women speaking together. The audio is not great. This is pretty early still in my abilities as a guerrilla documentarian researcher filmmaker, so there is no external microphone. I am literally using the mic on my camera. This one is a little tough to hear at times, but their stories are great, and I really hope you try and stick it out. All that being said, it's awesome that these women were able to get that moment. If it was only like 2 or 3 years that they were doing cons like this, it's still a great thing. You have to imagine that this is kind of the height of Bruce Campbell's convention time. This is when he is kind of the king of horror media, and he's just blowing up at conventions all over the country. So it's great to see that they found a way to get their stories out there and to be part of the culture for a moment at least, and, you know, to let us hear their stories from them, which is so important. So I'm so happy that I was able to document that. I got a little time capsule right here. Even with the audio not being great, at least I captured a bit. So that being said, here is Ellen Sandweiss, Theresa Tilly, Betsy Baker, the ladies of Evil Dead. How did you each get involved with the project of The Evil Dead?
Well, I happen to have gone to high school with Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and some of who worked on the film. So they just asked me if I wanted to be in it, and I said sure. I got involved in the film by being an actress in Detroit, and Sam and his entourage had gone to an agency and asked if there was anybody that was weird or offbeat enough that might want to do a non-union horror film, and we met them and we talked to them and we auditioned, and that's how I got the role.
This is tea for Tom. That's her line. No, I am very much like Betsy. I was a working actor at the time, and it was just another audition that I went on and got the part.
Okay. How did you guys feel about doing a horror film? Were you fans of horror at all, or did it matter?
Absolutely not. Not a horror fan at all. It was just pretty much a film that I was offered, and so I did it.
Well, you have to realize when you're shooting a horror film, you're usually not scared. And I'm also not a horror fan, so it's most of the time pretty funny.
I was just so happy to have a job as an actor. It could have been, I was doing puppet shows, you name it. So, hey, but I'm not a horror fan.
Did you guys, I know it was a independent film, small budget, small crew, the whole thing. Were you guys asked to do other jobs while on the film, like your own makeup and things like this?
It wasn't literally like being asked to do other jobs. Everybody just kind of pitched in. One of the more memorable things we did was shovel cow manure out of the cabin because it had been deserted for so many years.
Yeah, the list included driver, cook. I think each of us did at least one of the guys load of laundry.
Grocery
I
shop.
I don't do it.
I never did laundry.
No. Betsy must. Did you do their laundry?
Just
That wasn't in my contract.
we held the slate, we held lights, we held the mic.
Was there anything about making the film because of the setting you were in and how small of a budget and everything like that was kind of extraordinarily grueling, like doing certain things over and over again? Was there anything particular that was hard?
The time schedule was definitely grueling. We were asked to, we weren't even told what it would be. They would just wake us up in the middle of the night and start saying, hey, you gotta get up, we're gonna go shoot. And then we'd be done shooting, at morning and have to go to bed and sleep to shoot again in the night. So our time clocks were really screwed up. That was pretty hard.
There's a lot of, we did all of our own stunts, of course, so there was a lot of physical challenges going on.
The weather was a challenge too. We had been told we were going to shoot in Tennessee because they had very mild winters. And it was one of the coldest winters on record.
As far as the special effects and dealing with them, the makeup and so forth, how hard was that? I mean, did you guys have any experience with that kind of stuff before? Was it more complicated?
We had a makeup artist who did a lot of it, but we had to just pretty much sit there and be plastered and molded and poured Caro syrup over, and of course the contact lenses was pretty difficult.
And a lot of the so-called makeup was not really makeup. It was not meant to be used on skin. So it was kind of difficult.
I got to interview Tom Sullivan the other day and was talking to him about that, and he said he actually used regular paint.
Yes, right. He's an artist, and a good one, but didn't at the time have experience in makeup.
That was surprising to hear.
We were surprised.
Yeah, we just found out about that.
Was there anything you were asked to do? I mean, it being a horror film and it being kind of violent at times, was there anything that you were asked to do that made you uncomfortable or that you didn't want to do?
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to take off my shirt, but, they told me when I was down there that they really needed me to do that. And after a lot of begging, I finally agreed to do it, as long as it wasn't, too close.
Yeah, basically the whole wood scene was a little bit uncomfortable. I don't really.
Was there a wood scene? Yeah, but you don't remember
I don't remember that.
A little uncomfortable, but yeah, basically we were very young, and I, for myself, with the wood scene, didn't really quite understand how it was going to end up looking on the big screen. And when I finally saw it, I went, oh,
Whoa, Nelly!
thank God nobody will ever see this movie.
Yeah, that seriously was half of it. We just didn't think anybody would ever see it.
When you did get to see the final film like that, was there things that were a little more surprising about it, things that you didn't expect about it?
Yeah, I think so. Rewriting of half the script, once edited was like, wait a minute, that wasn't, we didn't shoot that way.
Yeah, we just had no idea the way it would all come together. And we mainly didn't think people were going to laugh. When we were in the premiere and heard people laughing, we just couldn't believe it.
So how does that kind of how you feel about it now, though?
Oh, now we love the
laughing
laughter
all the way.
because that's what it's all about. Is that it's funny. So we love the laughter now. Now that we're older and wiser,
We can laugh.
Right, now we can laugh. Ha
Did you realize getting into the project when you first signed up to do it how long it would take and that you'd be living down there for so much of the time and things like that?
Well, we realized that we would start right around November 1st up until the end of the year. What we didn't realize is that we wouldn't finish and that we would be asked to go back again or stay longer, or it would take a total of over 2 years to finish and edit and loop and get ready to put out to the public.
The way the film ended up and everything like that, the initial reaction that people had to it, how did you feel about the way people felt about the film when it first came out? The fact that it was considered so violent and, kind of the whole, almost like the British reaction of it being a video nasty and all those kinds of things and the ratings and such. How did you feel about that?
Frankly, we didn't know. I didn't know much about the movie. I kind of lost track of it. It didn't come out for a couple years. So by then I had already moved on, and we weren't really in touch with the filmmakers. And it came out, and I lost track of it, truthfully. I didn't follow it. I didn't really know that it was rated that way in England. I didn't know about that.
yeah, we really found out a lot about all that was going on within the last couple of years.
I think it was an emotional thing. We really didn't want to know about it, and so we kind of blocked it out.
She did. I just didn't.
I
had no idea what was going on.
Blocked out what?
I thought the movie was just went by. She's in therapy now.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Feeling better? How was it working with Sam Raimi? I mean, he had done a bunch of these comedies and doing all his shorts. But I mean, how was he for actors? Was he receptive to what you guys were saying? Was he giving you help and time on things, or?
No, was he receptive? Let's see. What do we call receptive? Down the power line, maybe? Yeah. Sam's a great guy. Extremely talented, as we all know. Very gifted. Very excitable. Very amenable. As long as you fall down and scream his way.
He's very driven, and he does anything to get the shot. And
The shot.
or you will do anything.
shot.
We needed to do anything to get the shot, no matter how many times over and over, and no matter how uncomfortable it might be. But he's just a driven guy. He's very intelligent, very funny, and it was a real good experience for him.
He kind of gets you on his page, He excites you with his energy and his creativity. And even though you're having Caro syrup poured all over you while you're blind, you just kind of go, "Yeah, Sam, that's really cool. Okay, I'm with you, buddy." Yeah. Torch and more.
Well, I know that getting started in a project, there's a lot of excitement, and then the project keeps going, and then you get called back down to do more stuff, and you're a little bit kind of blah about it by then. But overall, did you enjoy the experience of making the film?
Enjoy is not really the word that I would use, but I'm totally glad that I did it. It was a very, very rewarding experience, and it was just a unique experience. And I'm real glad I would do it again. I would have done it again when I was younger. I wouldn't do it now.
Oh, Ellen, here's a contract for a film. Are you interested?
Oh my God. It was a great experience. We were very young.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was not enjoyable, but an adventure.
So then, fast forward, a couple years go by, you guys kind of forget about the movie. Now all of a sudden you realize it's this huge cult film phenomenon. How did that feel when you found that out?
Freaked out. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe what kind of attention was being given to this movie that we thought was going to go
How does it feel being at things like this and having all these people standing in line to meet you? And
We love to be adored and paid for it.
It's fun. We love to see the fans. We love to meet the fans and hear their stories. And we do hear their stories about the first time they saw it, the last time they saw it, the 49th time they saw it. And it's great to finally meet the fans.
how did the webpage and the whole Ladies of Evil Dead as a union come together?
They actually, independently, the three of us had all been kind of having the same thoughts that, we need to jump on the bandwagon here now that Evil Dead has achieved this cult status. And we need to go out and, meet the public and find out what it's all about. And they live in California, I'm in Detroit, and they called me. And, to make a long story short, we just formed our little company, Ladies of Evil Dead LLC. And besides going to conventions, we're working on a few other projects, and it's pretty cool.
Could you guys tell me a little bit about the documentary you're working on?
Sure.
Well, we just thought it would be interesting to capture what got us back together again on film. And we meet so many interesting, unusual people, and kind of reuniting. Our reuniting with Sam and Bruce, it has all been pretty fascinating stuff. So we thought we'd just start filming that, and one thing led to another, and people started hearing that we were doing that, and they suggested maybe a documentary would be in order. So there's also a very interesting juxtaposition of the fact that none of us are really horror film genre people. We're more soccer moms, and yet we're these monster legends. And so we thought there was something interesting and humorous and ironic about that. And we're looking for that story.
When all the things that have been done for the film now had been going on, like with Anchor Bay releasing the film numerous times, had anyone contacted you guys about like commentary tracks or even interviews?
No. We actually got in touch with them because we wanted to start doing what we were doing, and that kind of led to them, putting a booklet in the new DVD release about us, and we kind of made them aware that we exist.
And they're happy.
They're very happy.
We have a really good
We're all
relationship
happy.
with them.
Did you guys see the sequels? How'd you feel about the sequels to the film?
Funny.
Not my style.
There's nothing like number one, though.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not in it, so.
With all this new popularity of the film, were you guys asked now, or actually even then, have you guys ever been approached to do more horror films?
Yeah, actually, we're approached all the time. We just kind of thinking about it, what we want to do next.
Betsy was actually asked to be in Evil Dead 2. But
I was asked to meet Evil Dead 2 by Bruce and Sam Raimi, but I was also going to have a child. Just somehow the two just didn't look like they were going to gel. And, but yeah, we've been asked. Ellen's getting ready to report us.
I'm going to be in a horror film called Satan's Playground, which is directed by Dante Tomaselli. We haven't started shooting yet, but we're going to soon. It's also the star Theresa from Sleepaway Camp.
No more interest in that for the rest of you, though? You guys don't really have any other interest then, aside from Ellen doing that? I mean, you guys have no more interest in being in films and doing that kind of thing?
I work all the time. I've been in a lot of shorts, I do voiceovers, I do commercials, and there's several films that we're talking to people about right now, all of us.
But not necessarily just horror films.
I thought you meant horror.
I just meant kind of in general.
Oh, yeah.
I guess basically I'd just like to know if you guys have any closing statements, if there's anything that you feel kind of people don't know about Evil Dead and how your guys' angle of it.
Well, there are some things I'd like to say about Theresa and about Ellen. So I'll meet you and the camera crew later. Out the hallway.
We'll make our appointments separate.
Yes.
You the individual ladies
Yeah,
of Evil Dead.
there you go. I will be the lady of.
But outside of that little bit of scoop, I think we could all agree that Evil Dead definitely does rock.
Yes.
So it's changed your life for the better, if it changed at all?
Let's just say it's changed our lives.
I wouldn't go. Let's leave it at that.
Okay, well, I thank you guys
Leave them
so
all in
much.
suspense.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks so much for giving me all your time and
Thanks,
everything.
Victoria.
Thanks again for tuning in this month to Indie Cult Horror. I hope you've enjoyed these interviews. All honesty, I only have a couple episodes left. So this is almost the end of the series. I think I have 3 or 4 episodes after this. I will say that we've been talking Evil Dead for the last 2, and coming up soon we're going to start talking about the films of George Romero from some of the people who helped make them happen. So, looking forward to that. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.